Hello, women of worship. My name is Linda Udischas, and I would like to start this video with a question. Have you ever been stumped by a scripture? Is there a verse in the Bible that you're just not quite understanding? Well, I've had that issue for a while. There is a verse in the Bible that has stumped me for a while, and I would like to share some revelation that I recently received on that with you. I'm coming out of Mark chapter 9, and this is right after Peter, James, and John witness the glorious transfiguration of Jesus on the mount. And they're coming down from this mountain, and they see the rest of the disciples engaged in a dispute with a crowd of people. And when they turn to see Jesus, they run to him, and Jesus asks them, "What are you disputing about?" And a man from the crowd answers him and says, "Teacher, I brought you my son who has a mute spirit, and wherever it seizes him, it throws him down. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. So I spoke to your disciples that they should cast it out, but they could not." And Jesus answered him and said, "Oh, faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him to me." So they brought the young man, the boy, to Jesus. And immediately when this evil spirit inside this boy sees Jesus, he throws the boy down to the ground, begins to foam at the mouth, and Jesus asks the father, "So, how long has he been like this?" And the man answers, "Since childhood." And he goes on to say, "And often he has thrown him both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, Jesus, have compassion on us and help us." And Jesus said, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes." Immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." Well, we know the rest of the story. Jesus rebuked the deaf and dumb spirit and cast that spirit out. The boy was healed. But the thing that always puzzled me was the answer of the father. The father says, "Lord, I believe, yet help my unbelief." I always thought this man is confused. How can you say you believe and then you don't believe? And so I was confused at his confusion. But the other day, I was talking to a friend of mine who's reading this book, and it's about bringing heaven down to earth. And in this book describes some extraordinary miracles that the author has not only been a part of, but also has witnessed. And some of these miracles are like limbs growing out and just tumors falling off and things, these kind of miracles that we don't see every day, but we should. And my friend was saying, I wish that I could be part of seeing those miracles happen. I wish God would use me to perform some of these miracles. And so I asked my friend, I said, "Well, do you believe that God can do these kind of miracles?" He says, "Yes, of course." And then he says, "But I just don't know if it's for me. I don't know if God would use me." And it dawned on me, that's what this verse means. This man, this father said, "Lord, I believe that you can do all things. Yet, I'm not sure if you would do it for me. I'm not sure if you would do it for my son." And I just want to let you know that if you believe that God can do it and that God wills to do it, that he will do it. And, it reminds me of a time when I was at the Christiana Mall in Delaware, and it was right after a Sunday service. And I was so excited about the service, as I usually am after leaving Word of Life Christian Center. And I'm in the food court with my daughter and her friend, and I see this woman being wheeled in through the food court. She's in her 30s. She is extremely frail, real thin. I mean, just not looking very well at all. And the Lord immediately spoke to me and said, "I want you to pray for her." And I know it was the Lord because I wouldn't normally want to just go up to somebody that I don't know and pray for them. And I know it wasn't the enemy, because the enemy does not want us to pray for someone's healing. So knowing that it's the Lord, I immediately get up. I tell my daughter and her friend, I'll be right back. So I'm heading towards this woman that I don't know, never seen her before, and my heart's pounding like crazy. And I approach her, I greeted her, and then I tell her, I said, may I pray for you? And she said, no. So I said, well, I just want you to know that I serve a God that heals, and he wants you to be healed. And she said, no, thank you. I pray to my God. So I have to respect her. And, I told her, I says, well, I respect your answer, but I will be praying for you on my own time. And I still do pray, and that's been like maybe 3-4 years ago. So afterwards, I thought about it. I was like, Lord, why did you have me approach this woman and ask her if I could pray for her, knowing that she would say no? And, it was a twofold answer. Number one, it was my obedience. Number two, they were seeds that were planted. Not only seeds in the heart of this woman, but also in the heart of this man, probably her husband, who was pushing her through the food court. And I pray that those seeds would just, if they haven't already, that they're being watered, and that God will bring the increase, that salvation will come to them, and that she would be healed. And, it would have been great if I could have prayed for her, and if God would have healed her right there on the spot. That would have been an awesome thing. But, I have to respect people. But you know what? Sometimes if I would have denied the Lord in approaching her, it would have been like me saying, Lord, I believe, I know that you can heal her. But through my fear and my own feeling of inadequacy, I don't think that you're going to heal her through me, so I'm not going to do it. But we must remain faithful. We must remain obedient. We must remain in a state of, I believe. And that's it. So I want to encourage you today to just, whenever the Lord is prompting you to pray or do something that is extraordinary, it's the Lord. If it's not your flesh and if it's not the enemy, then you need to step out and just do what the Lord is calling you to do. And do it unafraid, as I've said in past videos, and do it with a believing heart, because the God that you serve is a God where nothing is impossible. So thank you for joining me today. You have a blessed, blessed day. Thank you. Bye-bye.